Hey guys, it's Todd Schaefer, and this is part 4 of our 4-part mini course on authentically selling to clients. So we're going to do some Q&A today, and definitely cover some things about when you should and shouldn't sell to people, as well as some other awesome tidbits. So, first question: when does the selling happen? All right, when does the selling happen in your business? The selling always happens during the intake process, right? So whenever you're doing an intake assessment with people, which I always recommend doing a free 30-minute intake assessment, this is where you're asking the right questions to engage people in an emotional process to find out what it is they're wanting. And you're asking the questions, you're in the driver's seat here. You don't ask for money during the intake appointment. More than likely, you might ask for it at the end. You might ask for it after your first actual session, which I recommend doing on a separate day. But you're selling on the intake appointment, but you're not asking for money during the intake. You're just drilling down. Okay. So that's a really important thing to remember. It's about getting to know them. It's about being of service and helping you to find out whether or not you can serve them and how deeply they're willing to go with you. All right. Next question: how clients blank is not as important as blank is not as important as the blank you're leading people through. So I'll give you the options. How clients answer your questions is not as important as the psychological process you're leading them through, A. Or B, how clients the psychological process is not as important as how clients answer your questions. Which one do you think it is? The answer is how clients answer your questions is not as important as the psychological process you're leading them through. So when you're asking people questions during the intake appointment, you're leading them through a process to find out what they want, to qualify them, to figure out if they want what you have, if you want to offer it to them, and qualify their willingness to buy, basically. If you find yourself asking all the questions, you're doing it right. If a client is gunning you with questions, then they're not in that psycho-emotional process. Okay? If they're asking all the questions, you are the pawn and they are railroading you. And you can answer a question, but don't go into tons of detail. Answer it or say, hey, can we hold that question to the end and then get back on with the question right away. Okay? So it's mostly about you asking the questions. That's how you can guide the process during your intake assessment with people. All right. So what you ask is not as important as the process you're leading them through. All right. So you're engaging them. You're asking them to go deeper. All right. And if they're asking all the questions, well, then they're in a mental process and not an emotional process. Now, not every business is going to be emotional in nature. Doing emotional work, like working on root issues, but a lot of holistic businesses are, and regardless, you want to get to the bottom of why people are there to see you, and take them as deep as you can, so you can find out how much you can serve them, and definitely stay in the driver's seat. Okay, so let's get to the meat and potatoes. When should you not sell? When should you not sell to people? Right? When things are going awful? Sure, right? You essentially don't sell when when your gut is not matching what someone else is saying in front of you. Okay, that's when you shouldn't be selling. You should sell when you are feeling good about the person and when they are feeling good too. Now there may be some times to where someone's coming for you. They just want the result. They don't care about the process. So to that, I always say, follow your gut on that. Right? You don't want to sell when what you're hearing from the client isn't matching what you're feeling from the client. And here's why. So it's okay to ask follow-up questions when your gut is not is not matching what the client is telling you. It's okay to even say no to the client if you have a bad feeling and the client is saying yes. Um, so what it really means is that if they're saying yes, let's do it, and you're not really feeling it as a NF, then what that means is they're probably not in alignment with what they're saying. Now, who knows why? It's usually not about you. It's usually about them trying to overcome whatever emotional state that they're in for the time. But if you don't feel it in your gut, take it from me, from years of experience. If it doesn't feel good, even though they're saying yes, it's probably not a good time to buy or to sell to them or to agree to have them work with you. In fact, if you're doing your business really, really good, people should be ready to buy before you even get in there to conduct an intake with you, because you posture them properly through your website, through your online intake form that you might have had them fill out before even coming into your office, that kind of thing. But the intake assessment is really about the qualifying people and finding out if they're a great client, a decent client, or a dud client, right? So here's an example of well, before I get to the example, you definitely want to make sure that you feel good about somebody, and if their yes isn't matching your gut feeling, definitely ask those follow-up questions, because they may turn into a dud client quick if you're not feeling a connection with them. So here's an example, separate example. Another situation to look out for. Watch out for victims, okay, who claim that you are their savior, right, so to speak. If you want to watch out if a client is bad mouthing someone or something else during your intake, but they're being really nice to you. Oh, thank you so much. It was great. And oh my God, I went to so and so and they sucked. It was an awful experience. Or I did this or that and that really was awful, but you're great. That is a bona fide victim. Watch out for them. They're not really that good for business. That is a red flag. Because if someone is projecting hard like that, it's something that they own, and it can and will eventually be directed at you. These are unstable people. They're typically not long haul material in terms of clients, and they're more than likely not going to be ready for your service, especially if it's an emotional service. So take the lesson for whatever it's worth. You can ask yourself why you attracted it. Don't blame yourself. Just process through it smoothly, and then use a friend if you need to to process that. These clients are coming to you perfectly, so you can affirm more specifically the kind of clients you do want and you don't want, and you're always sharpening that through your experience. So it's never lost. It's never for nothing. You're always engaged in an internal process of deciding what it is that you want. All right. Another thing, let's talk about manipulation for a second. All right. Now, in the authentic selling, you're never manipulating people to buy. We never do that, ever. It's not worth it. It's not worth the hassle of the refunds and the bad press and that kind of stuff. You never want to power or muscle your way through a sale. But let's talk about what happens if a client tries to manipulate you. As previously mentioned, it's never worth trying to manipulate someone into buying. It's not good for business, not good for reputation, and it's definitely not authentic. You always want to be as transparent as possible about everything. The more you and the client feel good on every level, the more likely it's going to be a good long-term relationship. The client may not be exactly sure what to expect, but as long as they feel good about moving forward, that's the main thing. All right, that's the trust factor. So what do you do if a client is indecisive at the end of your intake? It's totally okay if you have time to listen and address all their concerns. But if you don't have the time and you have like another client in your next time block, you can suggest to have them try one session as opposed to a package of sessions, or email their questions to you, follow up with them. But definitely don't fall into the trap of trying to convince a client to buy if you're answering the questions and it's still not moving the needle on their buying decision past your time frame. All right, you gotta respect your own time, even if there's no client after the client who's with you at the moment. So don't give up the driver's seat. If a client trails on and they're not moving closer to buying after your intake is complete, it's okay to tell them. All right, so it might be something like, it sounds like the timing isn't really right for you to get started, and our time is up for this 30-minute intake. So would you like me to follow up with you in a couple days, a phone call or an email? Leave it at that. Don't let them railroad you. Manage the time. Definitely be looking at your watch and managing the time. Even if you don't have a client afterwards, it's because you got to be setting boundaries here, and uh, make sure that they are clear on what to expect from you as a practitioner, therapist, right? Hypnotherapist, or whatever the case may be. So it's okay to tell them. It's okay to be clear, and to not let them railroad you. You're in the driver's seat. You ask the questions and leave it at that. All right. So that, I think, is going to conclude our 4-part mini-series. I will tell you a couple more gold nuggets here before I let you go. So just keep in mind that there are going to be times when you're not going to feel good enough. Just ignore those times. You're going to have a lot better results if you follow a system for authentic sales. You don't want sales or no sales to be based how you felt on a particular day. What you want to have is like a system that's going to guide you through the process no matter how you feel. Not to be confused with feeling bad about a client. Failure is simply not trying or deciding early that you can't do it. But every other experience is going to be a classroom for you, and it's designed to sharpen you and your intake process. And with enough clients, you're going to sharpen your process very predictably. All right. So a master salesperson is going to have total control of the sales process. All right. I work with a lot of women, so I'm going to say she. She knows how to guide the client. She knows how to find out what the client wants. She knows how to qualify the client. She knows how to completely politely dismiss a dud client, even if the client is well-meaning. She knows how to connect with the client authentically so that the client knows what she has to offer. She does not try to entice a client to buy with features, gadgets, and flash sales. And by the time she's done with the intake, the right client will want what you have, and will have decided for herself that she likes you and believes you can help her. All right, so that's the kind of control you want of the sales process. I will be offering a bonus video for the next one here, even though our 4-part series is complete. And definitely be sure to tune in for the next video, which is going to be a bonus video on how you can learn the full authentic selling to clients system that I have to offer, where holistic practitioners and intuitive feelers can learn more about how to sell authentically to their clients and make it completely effortless, so that clients will want what you have by the time you're done with the intake, and you didn't even try to sell them. You're just gathering information, compassionate listening, asking the right questions, and monitoring those responses. So if you'd like to hear more, I will definitely share with you on the next bonus, and tell you all about it, so you can get the full deal there. That is it for this one. Thank you for being part of this mini course. I've really enjoyed it. You're always welcome to message me, or go to Holistic Speakers Guild business page and message me or my wife Kira. And we're happy to see you at holisticspeakersguild.com if you'd like to get more from us. If you want to leverage your business as a speaker. And we got lots of tools and services there, business and marketing tools, as well as speaker training. So thank you so much. Take care, and I will see you on the bonus video. Bye.